What is the best way to hide the truth? It's by creating false narratives around the truth. Finding a needle is not hard, but finding it in a haystack is what makes it difficult, or probably impossible. That's the case of a lot of things around us in the true nature of reality. Finding the truth is not really difficult, but segregating all the lies, separating all the bullshit around it is what makes it so hard to find it. In the last video, we saw how matter itself is an illusion. We saw how color is an illusion. I used the example of a blue car, where when if you see a blue car on the street, what you're actually seeing is a muddy gray car, which appears to be blue to your eyes, just something like a negative of a photo film, which looks grayish, white, muddy in the negative, but when you process it through the machine, it appears to be a color photograph. That's exactly how your eyesight works. That the car is just reflecting the color blue while absorbing every other color in the white light spectrum. So the actual color of the car has to be a muddy version of a gray. Um, if you expand that thought, if you expand that property of matter over all of our sensory perceptions, such as smell, taste, touch, sound, and vision. So, since all of the other sensory perceptions originate from uh, the nature of matter itself, we can eventually elude this to the same elusive nature of the matter. I'll give you an example. Um, let's say touch. Like your skin or your bones, every single thing in your body is also made up of the same three things that the rest of the matter is made up of, which is electrons, protons, and neutrons. Okay, so since we are since our bodies are also made up of the same matter that the rest of the matter is made of, our bodies are unable to distinguish between an illusive matter and a real matter, because in reality there is no real matter. Your body is also made up of illusive matter, and that's why when you touch an elusive bottle, when you touch an elusive rock, which is all the rock, all the bottles, every matter in the universe, it feels like real matter. It's because your hand, your skin, is also made up of the same matter that the rock and the bottle is made of, which is electrons, protons, and neutrons in some type of a mathematical combination. Okay? So that's the reason your body is tricked into believing that matter exists. Similar is the case with taste. Your tongue and your sensory organs, or the sensory nerve endings on your tongue, are also made up of the same matter that the food is made up of. And that's why there's an interchange between your tongue and the food, and you have to visualize how you taste something, how you feel something, how you view something. Like When a particle of food touches the sensory nerve endings of your tongue, the nerve endings of your tongue send an electrical signal to your brain. This electrical signal is sent through liquid engineering or fluid mechanics, whatever you want to call it. Um, so your body is electrically charged. Your blood, your nerves are electrically charged, and your nerves is what carries the electrical charge or the electrical signal to your brain that, oh, you ate a salt of grain, or you ate a grain of salt, or you ate a grain of sugar, or you had a bite of chili, or you had a sour lemon in your mouth. This all game is of electrical signals being sent to your brain. Okay, when you touch something, when you read something, when you watch something, all of this is happening through electrical signals. When you're driving a car, when you're reading a book, when you're listening to music, your brain is constantly sending electrical signals. I'm sorry, your eyes, your ears, your sensory organs are constantly sending electrical signals to your brain to decode what they are reading. That's why you might know that your eye cannot catch a difference within two pictures if the interval is less than 1/10 of a second or 1/6 of a second. I forget now what the actual measurement is, but if you make a video of your TV screen using your phone, you will realize that there are black screens between color screens in your TV. But when you see it through your naked eye, you would not see there's any black screen. But in reality, a television is not projecting a continuous picture all the time. It's not. Actually, a television is going black and then going to a picture. I mean, there is a dark screen every 1/6 second of the time on the TV, but your eyes cannot read it because your eyes need some time to send the electrical signal to your brain and back and read it and give you the feedback, and the amount of time that it takes is somewhere close to 1/6 of a second. So when the information is traveling from your eye to the brain and then reading it back and giving the output back to you, the processing time is a little less than, a little over than 1/6 of a second. And that's why your eye cannot see the black screens on TV. So all of your sensory perceptions are working in a similar fashion. If you touch something, like it's sending electrical signals to your brain, and then your brain is interpreting the reality for you. So once you accept this fact, or once you grasp this this reality that how brain works and how do you get a haptic feedback from your sensory perceptions, that's when you can further understand how matter interacts with your sensory perceptions, and that sensory perception or and your sensory organs are made up of the same um, components as the matter is made up of. And that's what causes this whole illusion, and that's what holds up this whole illusion together. Let me explain you with an example. All of you must have played some kind of a computer game where you're the first person, right? Like GTA or Counter Strike or Call of Duty, right? So imagine a character in GTA Vice City, okay? He's roaming around, he can see girls around him, cars around him. He has the ability to open the doors, like practically do whatever you want that you could do in a real universe, right? Like you have the you have the full freedom to do whatever you want wherever you go. The map is endless. Even you don't want to do your uh, task or the goals that you want to complete, you just can basically take a car and run around the city, right? Doing whatever you want. That's free will, right? You could call that as free will as well. But let's say at some point the character in the game starts to question the nature of his reality. And he thinks, oh, these girls that I'm seeing, maybe they are not real. Okay, let's say that character has developed a consciousness and he's trying to find out answers to the question. And then he says, how are these cars just coming out of nowhere? And how are these girls just appearing out of nowhere from the horizon? And maybe he starts to question his reality and he goes to find answers. I mean, he starts to find, oh, let me see where this originates from, where this comes from, and then he goes on this huge quest of finding the true nature of his reality. What is he going to find at the bottom of his reality? Let's say he digs it for a month and he does find at the bottom, all he's going to find are numerical digits, which is zeros and ones, a combinations of zeros and ones, different combinations of zeros and ones, because that's what everything in the computer is made up of, zeros and ones. It's a binary language, right? All of the computer code, everything in the computer that you see on the TV, that you type, that you process, boils down basically to a zero and a one, because computer reality is displayed on a 2D, two-dimensional screen, which only needs two dimension, which one is a zero and one is a one to count it or to quantify it. In our reality, which is a three-dimensional reality, we need a third axis as well for the third dimension, which is why we have electrons, neutrons, and protons, just like a two-dimensional reality has zeros and ones. I hope you're understanding what I'm trying to say, okay? So when the GTA character goes on to find his nature of reality, all he's going to find is a computer code written in zeros and ones, and then he's going to reverse engineer it back, and he's going to trace it back to his reality, his own reality, and he's going to say, what, when I look around, I see girls, I see cars, I see buildings, I see rocks, I see water, I see cops chasing me, I get busted, and then I start over again. Are you telling me all of this is just a zero and a one? It would be so hard for him to believe that, right? Because he's seeing this amazing world around him, but then when he goes to find some answers, all he's finding is zero and a one at the bottom of it. How strange would that feeling be for him? But that's exactly how our reality is as well. We see all this matter around us, all this infinite matter around us, but it's eventually only made from three things: electrons, protons, and neutrons. These three things is what is called the Holy Trinity in the Bible, or is called the Trinity of the Eastern religions of Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. It's the Tawheed which is talked of in the Islamic scriptures. But anyways, all of three Abrahamic religions are offshoot of the one and the same thing. So I don't see them as three different ideologies, but just one ideology of Abrahamic beliefs. But either ways, uh, this trinary, this trifecta, this three-dimensional reality that all of us are living in is a numerically coded universe, right? The fashion, like how does a iron atom know that it's an iron atom and an aluminum atom knows that it's an aluminum atom? How? It's only uh, it only like all of the atomic properties, all of the elemental properties that the elements hold, the substance hold, depends on how many electrons are there in the orbits of their atoms. And how many means it's a number. And when it's a number means it's numeric, right? So it's a digital. So all material reality is actually a digital code. It's a digital um, um, it's a software that your brain is reading and interpreting it as a hardware, just like a character in the GTA. Okay, I this is the most important concept to grasp. Hermes, if you follow, um, you know who Hermes is. If you're listening to me, you know who Hermes is. So Hermes said, universe is mental. All matter that you see around you is a game of your mind. The only true reality is your mind, is your consciousness, is this identity that you call you, which is the biggest mystery in the universe. Like, who are you? Like, what is this you that you call? That when you say, brain gave me the feedback, or these electrical signals are going to my brain, and then my brain is interpreting the reality for me. Who is this me that you're talking about? Is this, you're not this physical body, because we just saw everything physical, all of the matter is actually an illusion. So you're actually not this body. So who is this real you that's sitting inside of you, having this digital elusive experience? Who is playing this game of reality? Well, that's what you really need to find out. That's the real quest of life. That's the real um, journey that you have to take on in life. Everything else, these materialistic, getting an iPhone, getting a Tesla, owning a house, getting new clothes, these are all distractions created by the physical world to keep you from knowing who you are. Once you know who you're going to expand. You're going to um, there'll be this bright light inside your brain illuminating all of you within, inside, out, and you will not be able to you won't succumb to anything after this. You would be like an enlightened individual. You would be like Christ. You would be Buddha yourself. Once you once you reach this deep understanding of who you really are, once you dissociate yourself from race, from religion, from matter, from money, from your bank account, from your car, from your parents, from your school, from your degrees, once you dissociate yourself from everything else, because everything else doesn't really exist. What only exists is this you, this identity of you. is this you sitting inside between your eyes, between the ears, inside of your head, getting this experience of you, right? You're not in the toe of your leg, or you're not in the hair of your head, right? Like you're not in the follicle of your hair, but you're not in the toe of your leg, right? Of your feet. You're not in the knee joint, you're not in the elbow joint, you're not in the nose, neither are you in the head actually. So where are you? You're everywhere and nowhere, just like who? The Almighty, right? You're the Almighty of your own body. You are the Almighty of your own um, aura, your own sphere. Once you claim ownership of that, and once you claim ownership of your own self, once you really understand who you are, that's when you really begin to project outwards, or like from your inwards, like you that's when you become a light to the world instead of absorbing everything else from outside like a black hole. You become a source of light rather than being a black hole. Exactly. So look into this elusive nature of reality, try to understand it. um, if you want to look at this into more detail from a philosophical perspective, look into the concept of Maya, which is discussed exclusively in Hinduism and Buddhism, and is the basis of the entire concept of Hindu and Buddhist and Eastern and Tao philosophies. So look into this concept. So once you elevate yourself over matter, once you understand what really matter is, that's when you can try to focus on higher things which really, really matter. Thanks for your time. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.